welcome back to freehighschooleducation.com. Today we are going to do chapter 10.5 in algebra 1, page 392. This is the second session for this chapter. In this session we are going to learn how to graph linear functions. And we're going to do example number 1 in the book, minus 2x plus y equals to 1. The first thing we do is keep y on one side of the equality sign and take everything else to the other side. And now we replace x with values that are convenient for us to draw. We are not going to replace x with 100 since our scale doesn't go to 100. So we're going to replace x with 0. And if x is 0, then y is 1. So this will be our first point. 0 for x and y is 1. So this will be our first point. Our second point will be x is 1 and y will be 3. So x is 1, y is 3. So now this is enough to draw the graph. However, we need a third point to check our work. And in this case, we are going to use minus 1 for x. And if x is minus 1, then we get minus 2 plus 1, and that's minus 1 for y. So our third point will be minus 1 for x and minus 1 for y. Here is the 0, 0 for the x's. So now we can graph our function. And the first thing to check, are our points linear on the same line? And we connect them. If we have drawn our graph properly, then taking any point on this graph and using its x and its y, we'll see that it will satisfy the equation. Here we have a point. Its x is 2. And its y is 5. Is this true? And we get 5 is equal to 4 plus 1, 5. So this is the correct graph for this function. Now there are special functions such as the following. X equals to 5. Here, for whatever value that we have for y, x will be 5. And the graph of this function is going to be a vertical line. Many students will think that since the x-axis is horizontal, this should be a horizontal line, but that's not correct. Why is it a vertical line? Because whatever value we replace for y, we are going to get the same x as we said, and that's because the missing term here is 0, y. So if y is 1, that will be 0 plus x equals to 5, then x will be 5. If y is 2, that will still be 0, and x will be still 5, and so on and so forth. And now, if we graph this x equals to 5, and this is not a function because all the abscisses are the same. So we cannot call it a function. So this is the graph of x equals to 5. Now if we have the other situation where we have y equals to 7, here the graph of this, and this is a function in this case, the graph of this is going to be a horizontal line, and it's not a vertical line. Many students think that because the y-axis is vertical, this should be vertical. So now, this will be the graph of y equals to 7. And again, for whatever value of x, y is always 7. So this is the graph of y equals to 7. And this is for x equals to 5. And again, the missing term here is 0x plus y equals to 7. Whatever value you put for x, you are going to get 7 for y. Now finally, we have two special situations also, which are the following. Y equals to 0. Here, for whatever value of x, y is equal to 0. And here, the graph of this is the x-axis itself. And for x equals to 0, the graph of this is the y-axis itself. And with this, we come to the end of this session, and we hope to see you again.